I'll just take one moment to record the introduction if that is fine. Hi everyone, we have Mike with us, and Mike has almost 2 decades of experience on Appian, not on Appian. I messed up. So, hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of the show. Today we have Mike Schmitt with us, and Mike has almost a decade of experience on Appian. I think it's when the Appian actually started with those boring legacy interfaces that we might also hear about from Mike in the video. And apart from this, Appian, Mike has been in the top contributor list on Appian community since 5 years. I will pin down his community URL in the comments as well as in the description, so you can go and check it out. He has batches of 2018, 19, and 2020 top contributors, and also in 2021 he was one of the top contributors. And he also happens to be one of the first set of people, including myself, who were given a chance to participate in the first ever live build challenge that Appian organized. And as far as I remember from the live build challenge, you have been a skydiver with over 330 plus dice.
That's right.
Right. Okay. So, Mike, I do have a list of questions, and these are the basically questions that a new joiner, any new joiners who starts working on Appian, it can be someone as fresher or someone who has been cross-trained on Appian or is being about to cross-trained on Appian, basically has whenever he's about to get started with Appian. So, I do have prepared a list of all of these questions that people ask me. But before we proceed, I would like to ask you some of the questions regarding your career on Appian. So what made you choose Appian after working in industry for 10 years?
So previously I was working in industry in a role more of IT, hardware support, things like that, for retail and commercial equipment. Be it one of the biggest ones was like the cash registers, the computer touchscreen cash registers at Starbucks stores or Walmart's.
Okay.
And I was on a local team where when anything would go wrong with one of those pieces of equipment, be it just a weird issue or a complete crash or something actually physically broke, we would go and troubleshoot and do necessary hardware replacement. That job was interesting, but the hours were inconsistent, and it was pretty dirty at times. And to be honest, when I switched to Appian just over 10 years ago now, I wasn't looking for anything specific. I hadn't actually heard of, the low code term didn't exist yet. The buzzword they used then was BPM for business process management. I hadn't heard of that yet either. But one day I got fed up with my old dirty job, and I reactivated my monster profile, and the next day I got a call from a recruiter from my original company.
And as far as I remember, it is CollaborLink, the company that you started Appian with.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They pulled me out of the retail service world, and I'm still grateful to those guys.
Definitely.
Even though I switched to a different company 2 years ago now.
Yeah, definitely. And Mike, how tough was it to learn a new technology altogether? I mean, I've heard that people usually get stagnant when they reach 10-year milestone, 8-year milestones, and they basically now are somewhere that they just want to manage the work and they don't want to get hands-on. But then you were a person who actually switched the entire vertical and then started working on altogether a new technology. So how hard it was for you?
Well, at first I was a little bit concerned, honestly. Going into CollaborLink sent me to the Appian 1 week boot camp. in-person class at Appian HQ, the one designed for partners and new developers to go to. And before I got there, I was concerned that it was going to be way over my head, or just be way too difficult. But having had a background in development, sort of just in general, and even before college, I knew a little bit about coding and knew a little bit about just computers and how they work, and HTML and stuff like that, handwriting HTML. So I quickly discovered during that class that it was not going to be as hard as I thought. And I was one of the people who was sort of ahead in that class.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, looks like you actually have traveled a long way, and with this conversation, it you know I felt like I just gave you a good nostalgic trip about the older Appian.
Yeah.
But then looks cool. Okay, and so you've told me a lot of things about when you started working in Appian till now. So was there any period of time when you actually regret choosing Appian?
No, not really. I mean, the job I left, the IT support sector, it had certain aspects which I miss, just from um, a daily life perspective. But that has nothing to do with the fact that I switched into Appian. It's more of a fact that I switched into a job where I'm going to the same place every day. In that previous career, I would leave my house and I would just drive to the closest service call that I had in my queue that they would send to my mobile unit.
Oh, so
Back
basically
then
you
we
were on
called them
field.
Blackberries. So I was totally field support. Yeah. So I didn't have an office. I didn't go to an office. So I would
Oh,
go
okay.
to this store, and then from there I'd get 5 more calls while I was there. So I'd pick which one to go to next based on priority and distance.
I see.
And then I'd just bounce around different places all day. So I'd see a lot of different people, and I learned most of my local area really well, and I was in different parts of the area all the time. And most of the time when I walked into a Starbucks, they'd give me a free drink. They would the first thing they'd ask me is what I'd like to drink, and that was always nice. So in a way I miss that, but I didn't miss I didn't miss like uh I didn't miss the work exactly. I mean, I do like fixing things, but I didn't miss the frustration and the getting sweaty and dirty and the never knowing when I'd have a weekend off. But like I said, that's less about having switched to Appian and more about having switched to a job with a consistent schedule and location.
Okay, yeah, that answers the question well.
Yeah, but
And
I never regret going with Appian. Yeah, I mean it's been great, and the industry demand has only grown since I've been here.
that's really great, Mike. So I've seen, I went to your Appian profile and I see that you have been amongst the top contributors since 2018. So what actually motivates you or pushes you to be in the top contributors? Is it something that has to do with the numbers and your position in the leaderboard? Or is it something that you would like other people not to face what you faced while you started working in Appian?
Um, mainly it's just that I guess I just enjoy answering people's questions. I mean, I I found out that I was a top contributor for the prior year before they even introduced a leaderboard. So it was never about like competing my way onto a leaderboard. Although these days I'm trying at least a little bit to claw my way back to the #1 spot that got stolen from me just yesterday. But yeah, so I mean, it was actually sort of a surprise to me from the beginning. I got to go out to the Appian World 19, which was the last one they had in person before, the world shut down. And then the conference booklet had a little page insert with top contributors, and I was like, well, my name is in the number one spot. Maybe that means I was the top one. And then April at Appian confirmed that I was in fact the number one. And even now, I think she said um, if you count all time instead of just for the past year, um, I'm still in the number one spot by a factor of two. Like I have more than twice as many as the next one
Right,
down
yes, I saw that.
in terms of all time.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so when are you going to put in an all-time leaderboard? But anyway, I mean, like I said, I'm okay being number two for the moment.
And with this leaderboard coming into picture, we can now see, like, as I remember, I think a day or two previous, we were having this one thread where there was a guy, and I not just with this guy, I mean, there are a lot of cases that we can see here that people, just because of wanting to achieve a position in the leaderboard, they just copy paste the answers, or maybe they just try to answer in active or passive voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen that guy in the last couple of days.
This keeps happening. And by the way, April, if you are by any chance watching this video, then it's a sincere request, please do something about it.
Yeah, and the spam, I guess.
Right, the spams have also increased a lot. I do remember I reported at least 20 to 25 spams in a row, like in 5 minutes, because there was one day where someone from, I guess, Saudi Arabia, or I don't know what country, started spamming with
Yeah.
their advertisements. Or
Actually, to go off topic for a second, the news tactic, and you should help me watch out for this, and everyone else watching who's on community regularly. What they'll do now is, like, at 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern time, they'll come in, find like 3-year-old posts,
Right,
and
yes,
then leave a brand new reply to it,
correct.
which looks like it's just a random question or statement that's kind of benign. But what they'll do is, at the end of that post, there will be a link to some stupid mobile game knockoff that they're trying to
Right, right,
spam, and
correct.
they color code the link text white so it doesn't show up on the white background.
Oh,
So people who are just passing through don't notice. But if you highlight the comment with your mouse cursor, you'll see the link appear. It would also be, if you happen to hover your mouse over that white area before dragging and clicking, you'd see it too. So I've been reporting those spam too, but I've accidentally found some that are like months old and never get caught. And I don't know what sort of
wow.
spam that is. Maybe they're trying to boost search engine results for some of these things. I have to assume it's something like that, but I don't know.
But that's something definitely requires a scope of improvement in terms of the spam and validation of the emails. So
Yes,
definitely, anybody at
that
Appian,
could.
please do something. So now continuing my original point, these new people who basically get to work on Appian first time haven't really heard about Appian. So for them, Appian is not as popular as Salesforce or any other system like Pega here, especially in India. I'm not sure about the US, but I'm talking about India. So these people are very skeptical about should they be working on Appian, what's their future, what if Appian shuts down tomorrow, then how would they survive down the line, or what is actually they're worried about their future. So because you've been in the industry from quite a long time, what do you think is the future of Appian?
um, I mean, I've had similar thoughts here and there, but the one most reassuring thing is there are a large handful of U.S. government federal organizations that all use different Appian installs that were built at different times. There are things that they absolutely rely on. So there's not much that would be possible for Appian to just suddenly go away or anything like that. There are too many high powered government institutions relying on it. So I don't think any of these worries are all that serious.
Okay. Because I also happen to be an Appian trainer with a current employer, so I
Hmm.
get to hear this question a lot of times when I'm just
Yeah.
giving them an introduction about Appian, that I don't know what the heck is Appian, and should I even work on Appian or no? But I think now you have a solution. So if anybody now has a doubt about this, definitely this video is a reference for them. That Appian isn't going anywhere. Feel free to get in touch with any of the senior Appian developers like Mike or anybody in the community to get an assurance or to find answers to the questions you might have. Also, you can pin down your questions in the comment section, and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. But I think Appian isn't going anywhere, so you can rely on it and enjoy the growth. Great, Mike. Great. Thank you so much for being with us all this time. It means a lot, and I wish you a very good day.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.